watching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You dial toll free, bring up anything that you want here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733, and we've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. They're open and available to you over on our Discord server. It's discord.lrn.fm. And by the way, the Discord is where you can interact with other Free Talk Live listeners both before, during, and as well as after the show. There's people there basically around the clock, and it's free. So
yes, there are.
That's right. Go to discord.lrn.fm. You can interact with our listeners there. Some of the hosts also spend some time there as well. Once again, it's discord.lrn.fm as we go to your phone calls and thoughts, talking about the horrific shooting of approximately 50 innocent people, at least the killing. There may have been more shot than that. I'm not sure how many were injured. This man, lunatic 28-year-old who apparently was a legal gun owner in New Zealand, just blasted away at innocent life, defenseless innocent life, because you basically can't legally own guns very easily, especially handguns in New Zealand. Now they're proposing banning all semi-automatic guns, period, in New Zealand. We can talk about that. But the first part of this story is this...
semi-automatic rifles, but I mean that would be including semi-automatic handguns, right?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't actually gotten into his statement about banning semi-autos. He's first, the Attorney General, complaining about the fact that this was live streamed, that there was video footage sent out live over Facebook Live of this lunatic on his killing spree. And that was where I wanted to start this discussion, because, again, we did talk about this last night, but we can take your calls about anything here, is the idea that if you care about freedom of speech, you should support this video being out there. Now, Facebook can make whatever policy they want. They're a private company. If they want to have a takedown policy of no violent, videos allowed on Facebook, that's fine. That's their prerogative, as a private organization. But ultimately, if you have a live streaming service, some people are going to use that live streaming service for very untoward and inappropriate things. And ultimately, I don't think there's anything wrong with this footage being available out there.
Right. I don't see anything wrong with Facebook having terms of service. I don't see anything wrong with people being able to report something that violates the terms of service. And I don't see anything wrong with Facebook taking down something that violates the terms of service. When the government says you may not, that's when I have a problem.
Right.
Right? Like revolutions get fought over these ideas. And to cavalierly suggest that somebody should not be able to do it, whatever it is. Because remember, you don't need freedom to live stream. You don't need the freedom to live stream the recipe you're making, or you out in your garden picking flowers, or your kid.
Unlikely those things will be banned.
Yeah, your kid eating a cupcake.
These are popular videos. These are things that are not at threat, not being threatened to be erased.
What you need protection from is the ability to stream or to say or do whatever for unpopular opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that people want to take away. And I'm not saying that, that people that I don't want to protect people's right to shoot people by any stretch of the imagination. But I think that you got to be able to, once it's happened, once the video's created, there's no additional victim.
Let's go to your calls and thoughts. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Can share your thoughts with us. It's Jerry listening to WVTS in Charleston, West Virginia. Hello, Jerry.
Hello, fellas. To start with, I've never heard of this guy. He may have, 1,000 friends or so. How many people actually knew that he was going to broadcast that? I mean, it's not like he advertised it to the whole world and we were all sitting around waiting
Right.
for it, right?
Now, I think he posted a link on 8chan, which is, one of these anonymous message boards.
Right. Okay, the other thing about that is, you can find that all over YouTube right now, even though they said that they weren't going to allow it to be posted.
Oh, really?
And guess who's posting it?
I have no idea.
Muslims from overseas.
Okay.
That's where, I don't want to call them terrorists, I don't want to call them radicals, I don't know what they are. But I downloaded a copy, and I can't read a thing because it's in Arabic, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So
right, you don't know what's
people,
being said
whoever they are,
surrounding it.
Say again?
You don't know what's being said surrounding it, but
exactly.
Presumably, they're not so happy about it, I would imagine.
Right.
Well,
I mean, if they said, if there was a video of Muslim running around shooting middle-aged white guys in America, middle-aged white guys in America might want to consume that video a little more than most folks. So I'm not surprised.
What I'm saying, no, wait a minute. What I'm saying is those people are up. They know what's going on, and they know that Facebook and others do not want that video posted. So what they're doing is continuing to post it every chance they get, and as soon as it's taken down, they find another way to
for them.
post it.
They should do that.
Okay.
Don't you support them in doing that?
Who do I?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too.
And I'll tell you why, because I was a newspaper photographer in the 70s when all of a sudden the editors across this nation decided to become a kinder and gentler newspaper, and what they did back in those days, and I was part of that, if there was an incident, say, where someone was hurt pretty bad and that person had blood on them, this was the early days of the first computers, and they would have us go in and remove as much blood as possible.
Wow.
So as not to offend the audience, okay?
Ridiculous.
And you guys are way too young to remember this, but the number one tabloid back in the 60s was the National Enquirer.
Yeah.
And they made their bones on bodies cut in half from railroad trains and all kinds of gory pictures, okay?
I didn't know that.
Before they went okay. When I was delivering newspapers as a 13-year-old in the early 60s, it wasn't unusual to find a body every week or two along my route at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Jesus,
people
where
died,
were you?
And usually these were drunks or people that got mugged or whatever they were. Now, today, the news has become so sanitized that this generation today and the previous generation has no conception of death whatsoever. The only time they see a dead person is if they go to a funeral. And a lot of them don't go to funerals anymore. They go to memorial services.
Yeah.
So these people today have no concept of serious injury or death because they're not exposed to it. Thank you very much.
I think you're spot on that, Jerry. Great call. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us here. I appreciate the professional background.
Everything I see from this generation online is always talking about how they want to die. They're looking forward to death.
Really?
They wish it wasn't so painful.
Wow.
That they wish that they hadn't existed because it would be easier than dying. That life is somehow terrible. I just got 12 hours of sleep and I'm still tired. That's because you didn't wake your butt up after 8 hours.
Well, it's nice to see people supporting this. There are probably somebody out there who thinks these things should be restricted. If you want to dial in, you're welcome to join us at 855-450-FREE. Now, again, if you want to voluntarily choose to not watch these things, that's fine. I totally respect that. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend watching them. They're disturbing and horrifying, but at the same time, things like this should exist because, as you pointed out, Mark, if you care about freedom of speech, it's the unpopular speech that needs to be protected. It's the disgusting speech. It's the vile speech. It's the racist speech. It's the horrible, violent, terrible, awful, terrifying, insensitive speech. The stuff that people don't want to hear. That's what needs protecting. And similarly, video is also a form of speech. That can show some very disturbing footage, but ultimately it should be legal to have. It's evidence of a crime. You should not be convicted of a crime for possessing evidence of a crime. You should not be in legal hot water for it.
Yeah, I think that this is one of those situations. I used to watch all these videos. I felt that it was my job as a talk show host to
did it wear away
take
your soul?
Right. Take the bullets, as it were, the proverbial bullets, the fictitious bullets for my audience, and be able to.
I was grateful that the one that I watched last night was in 240p, so it was like basically VHS quality or lower. It wasn't a particularly good quality because it was horrible. I mean, the dude was shooting at people who were lying, and dying basically. Just absolutely horrible. I mean, the whole thing was awful, but it just kept getting worse. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. More on the proposal to ban semi-automatic weapons in New Zealand as a result. You're welcome to comment on that or whatever happens to be on your mind. You can take control of the airwaves here at 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It's Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Bags under the eyes, crow's feet, fine lines and wrinkles are things adults complain about as they age. Now there's Instantly Ageless. It works in minutes and is great for men and women. Here's a clip from The Rachel Ray Show testing the results of Instantly Ageless.
Board-certified dermatologist Dr. Whitney Bowe.
If you're looking to try to turn back the clock on a budget, in the privacy of your own home, but actually there's some recent technologies emerging, almost like changes the behavior of the skin while it sits on the skin.
She went off to try a product called Instantly Ageless.
Yeah, instantly you could see a difference. Even the cameraman were like, wow, look at the difference.
Yeah,
but I would definitely use this product.
This product, within minutes of applying it, it was actually a very dramatic rejuvenation.
Try Instantly Ageless today at GCNlife.com. That's GCNlife.com. 30-day money-back guarantee and preferred price discount at GCNlife.com. That's GCNlife.com.
I mean, it's just so hard to believe that it's really all gone.
It was in this living room 3 weeks ago that the Talbot family discovered their DVR had suddenly and inexplicably crashed, deleting more than 5 years' worth of recorded live events and miniseries.
I keep having flashbacks to that day, to that moment when I realized everything was gone.
You hear stories about people who mismanage their device settings, but you never really think it could happen to you. Honestly, it feels like some sort of a dream, like when I wake up, I'll be able to just go downstairs, turn on the TV, and all the episodes will be there again, as if nothing had ever happened.
Friends and family of the Talbots have pledged their support, organizing DVD donations and offering passwords to online streaming services while the family struggles to move on.
We know that we'll never be able to replace all the hours of programming that we had, but I think in the end we'll be just fine, as long as we have our 5 seasons of Seinfeld on DVD.
This is the Onion News Network.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free to bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Well, if the government of New Zealand decides to ban semi-automatic rifles, is that going to solve the problem of mass shootings? They want you to believe that it will, but I'm going to tell you right now, it won't, because you don't stop psychopaths. They are determined people.
Gun laws are basically victim disarmament laws.
Yeah. That's the reason why this guy was able to kill 50 people, because no one in the area had a gun until there were apparently he did allegedly encounter somebody later on that had a gun, but I've yet to be able to verify that.
The police arrested
claim.
a guy for arming himself, as they said.
And then shamed him publicly for
and
it.
said that he shouldn't have done that.
After he was trying to protect children.
Right. They said he was trying to protect children and armed himself and arrested him.
Yeah. So toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE like freedom. Let's continue with your calls and thoughts. Oh, and by the way, I do want to make sure you know about helpmetakebitcoin.com. It's a new website by the good folks over at AnyPay, who have been helping people take Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies like Dash and Bitcoin Cash and Zcash for coming up on 2 years. I think they started in August of 2017, so a year and a half of AnyPay helping merchants, real life merchants, accept cryptocurrency at the point of sale. So if you've been thinking about taking Bitcoin, but you've been not so sure, you're not too sure about the process, how difficult is it? It's actually super easy, and they'll walk you through it over at helpmetakebitcoin.com. That's helpmetakebitcoin.com. As we go to Barry, listening in South Carolina. Barry, you're in Columbia, listening to WQXL. Go ahead.
I'm listening to WVOC.
If you're in Columbia, you're listening to WQXL. But go ahead with your thoughts.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I get my AM and FM mixed up.
No problem. Go ahead.
But you men are 100% right. This is a horrible tragedy. But the previous caller alluded to the fact that the people who keep putting this back up on social media, and I don't deal with social media much, but if that is indeed social media where this keeps appearing, that it's the Islamists that continue to bounce it back up there every time it's taken down. We always have to remember that on 9/11, we lost approximately 3,000 people, I believe it was.
I didn't lose anybody. Nobody I knew was in that building.
Well, nobody you knew was in that building, but they were American citizens, most of them.
What's the point?
Well, the point is that, the American people didn't keep putting that up and putting that up and putting that up on social media
kidding?
every time it was
we see it all the time. We didn't have social media.
Yeah, first of all, social media didn't exist at all in 2001.
Why shouldn't we? Answer that question.
That's an entirely different question.
You should put it up over and over again.
Well,
you should put it up.
It is not.
Let me ask you this. Are you familiar with Iranian Air Flight 655?
No.
Okay, I bet you aren't. Because on July 3rd, 1988, the United States fired a surface-to-air missile and shot down a passenger jet. It was USS Vincennes. Now, we never hear about that. We never hear about the hundreds of civilian people that were blown out of the sky. And
listen, I'm not defending anybody, and I'm not accusing anybody. What I'm saying is there's a war going on in this world right now, and these things are going to happen, and it's going back and forth and back and forth, and publicity is one of the biggest issues in the whole thing.
Yeah, you're right. Publicity absolutely is.
So, but wait, we agree, right?
Like this eye for an eye thing is going to make the whole world blind.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's not necessarily an eye for an eye thing. Things are done for different reasons. Who knows what the reason was that the Islamists decided to hijack planes and fly them into the World Trade Center.
Power and control.
And try to fly them into the Pentagon.
I've got the answer for you. Power and control. Power and control. It's always about power and control. Likely those Islamists felt like the United States backing up the government of Saudi Arabia and backing up the governments of Israel. They were upset with that because they couldn't institute a revolution.
And what about this guy over in New Zealand who feels that, he's being invaded?
He wants to spark a civil war, is what he wanted. Now, have you looked at his 74-page?
Nonsense.
Have you?
Nonsense. I totally disagree because there are.
Have you read the 74-page manifesto or any portion of it?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well then you don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I don't?
Yeah, you would be uninformed on that one particular issue. Now, you can have an opinion while being uninformed.
All right, I stand uninformed.
Okay.
But I do know that these countries are being used to have immigrants from these Islamist countries come in and, it's part of the plan.
There's a plan?
I may not be involved. I may not be informed on this one.
It's an Islamic conspiracy theory, Mark. That's what he's laying out for us.
Well, I just look. I mean, I can totally see why somebody might want to get out of Syria or Iraq or Iran or any of those places.
Yeah.
I mean,
wouldn't you?
Compared to the United States, it's a crappy place to live.
They're not looking to get out of their countries. They're looking to invade other countries.
Ridiculous.
And increase the
How many of them have you talked
to?
Yeah, that is wildly insane.
Oh, wildly insane.
Yes!
Okay.
The idea that these people are somehow mindless myrmidons following their government's admonitions to leave their country and come to the United States, go have a better life for yourself, run a convenience store. What?
Yeah, they're owning the convenience stores here in Keene, New Hampshire, and somebody I was talking to the other day was complaining about it. I'm like, what's the problem exactly? Are you upset because they're better business people than you?
Maybe Americans don't want to work those hours.
I don't get it. And look, if the claim is, if your claim is true, Barry, and that there's this, horde of Islamists coming into the United States or New Zealand or whatever.
All you have to do is look what's happening in Europe right now.
Where's the violence? Where
what's happening in our
is the terrorism? Where's the terrorism?
There's plenty of terrorism in Europe.
In the United States. He's saying they're invading the United States, these hordes of Islamists with this big plot. With this big plot, I want to know where the terrorism is. Excepting the Boston bombing. Okay, you could point to that
one guy that put that van full of explosives.
Are there not no-go zones in where are the no-go zones?
Those are
Sweden.
Those are alleged.
Are there
those are alleged. There's no real evidence for it from what I've seen.
Around Chicago.
Yeah, the whole city of Chicago.
Right. There are no-go zones in Chicago, but they likely are not populated by Muslims.
Yeah, well, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for the call, Barry.
You guys have fun with
We are
that.
going to have fun. We do it every night. Thanks for the call.
This is, to me, just more of the same, right? Like, this is all about fear.
That's what his call was about,
fear. Yeah. Well, that's what it's all about. This guy that was doing the shooting, more fear.
He wants you to be afraid, too,
the
for
Islamists
sure.
posting, the Islamists posting this online, fear. It's all generating fear. And why? Because humans are easy to make scared, and once they're scared, they're easy to control.
Sure.
I'm not going to be controlled by these people on either side. I'm just not interested in it. Like, politicians, the government, they make their bones on turning people against each other. When you are scared of somebody, when you have an enemy, the government can say, they're my enemy too.
You need us.
One of the sides will say, they're my enemy too, so therefore I'm your friend, listen to me. While I screw up the government.
Just do what I say.
Let's say it's the Republicans for a second that are the enemies of the Muslims and the friends of those that are scared of the Muslims. Let's say that for a second. Then you turn over the government to the Republicans, and what do?
Build a wall.
They side with the oil companies, do cocaine off the hookers' butts on oil derricks. Read the news story. This crap happened. I mean, the Bush administration, sorry folks, was bought and paid for by large corporations who took your government away from you just that much more. You're at $22 trillion in debt.
That's a myth. It was never your government. They didn't take anything
I
from
understand
you.
that, but the people listening believe that it was their
They
government.
just continued the same scandal.
Right. It's the same scandal over and over again. I got you. But people listening believe that the government is their government.
Well,
they
wake up.
believe that
That's
we
garbage.
the people crap.
That's crap.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
It's always been crap.
As you continue to give the politicians your fear, they will continue to take government from you. You've got nothing. That's what it is.
The toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Whether you want to comment on the New Zealand slaughter, the shooting down there, or whatever's on your mind, you can take control of the airwaves. This is Free Talk Live.
Know someone with a drinking or drug problem? Learn how to get sober after we share these stories.
I was 35 with 2 beautiful children when my life and addiction started to spiral out of control. After my divorce, I went into a depression cycle and started drinking more often and using prescription drugs. After my second DWI and arrest, my ex-husband threatened to take our children away from me.
I was 17 when I became addicted to heroin and meth. I thought I could quit on my own, but I couldn't. It hit me when I was arrested.
Get sober now. Your private insurance may cover costs and we'll get you here. It's simple. Just call Elite Rehab Placement right now. Please don't wait. Your life matters to us. 800-213-9264. 800-213-9264. 800-213-9264. Call right now before it's too late. 800-213-9264.
Should you be able to earn an honest living free from senseless government interference? The Institute for Justice thinks so. That's why we've spent years defending hard-working men and women from pointless government regulations. Nationwide, IJ has created opportunity by reducing government power. But there is still more work to be done. Visit our website today at ij.org. Let IJ take care of the government so you can take care of your business.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the Liberty Beat for Thursday, March 14th, 2019. Gold opened the day at $1,298. Silver opened at $15.22. And Bitcoin is trading around $3,850. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online, innoscale.net. In the news, in a close vote of 54 to 46, the United States Senate on Wednesday passed a joint resolution calling for the end of U.S. military involvement in the Yemen war, noting that no such involvement was ever authorized by Congress. Debate on the resolution, as in the past, centered on arguments that the U.S. involvement isn't technically a war in and of itself, and that ending the war would be bad for Israel. On the other side, the focus was heavily on Saudi war crimes that the U.S. has been supporting. The resolution came with an amendment by Senator Rand Paul, which seeks to ensure that no language in the bill inadvertently authorizes any other wars. The Pentagon, on Wednesday, announced it has allocated $300 million to support U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces, as well as $250 million to secure the borders of Syria's neighbors. The funding is part of the 2020 budget. The administration of U.S. President Donald Trump asked Congress to allocate a total budget of $718.3 billion to the Pentagon. The Anti-Media reports that according to budget documents, out of $718.3 billion, $544.5 billion has been allocated as a core budget, while $173.8 billion is allocated for potential overseas operations known as the War Fund. Of the War Fund, $9.2 billion has been allocated for urgent situations, including the wall that Trump is planning to build on the border with Mexico. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. More info is online at mybravebotanicals.com. And Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% off your purchase by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the Liberty Beat for Thursday, March 14th, 2019. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. YouTube has finally gotten around to shutting down a notorious softcore pedocentric channel months after its creator was arrested in Central Florida for molesting a 15-year-old girl in a hotel room near Walt Disney World. The Anti-Media reports that UK-based Ian Rylett was arrested in August of 2018 on suspicion of molesting the teen, shortly after she signed a contract to appear on the 55-year-old's YouTube channels, one of which was 7 Supergirls. In response, YouTube has finally shut down the operation. 2 individuals involved in a violent attack on the North Korean embassy in Madrid have reportedly been linked by Spanish authorities to the CIA. According to a report from the Anti-Media, 2 of the 10 assailants who broke into the embassy and interrogated diplomatic staff have been identified and have connections to the U.S. intelligence agency. The CIA has denied involvement in the attack. A family in San Antonio, Texas, is heartbroken and searching for answers this week after a San Antonio police officer shot and killed their chihuahua in their backyard. The Free Thought Project says that after the officer shot the tiny dog, he gave no reason for doing so and simply left. Neighbors who heard the gunshot were startled and also wanted to know why a cop would open fire in a residential area to shoot and kill a tiny chihuahua. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat for Thursday, March 14th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This is the Onion Week in Review. According to sources, all 6.5 million residents of Indiana spontaneously formed thousands of perfectly uniform rows throughout the state Monday morning and established a collective consciousness. Saying, "We are Indiana," the new hive mind talked and moved in unison, with citizens working together to build a massive geometric superstructure in downtown Indianapolis where they would gather to sleep, breed, and feed.
All corns for Indiana. All corns for Indiana.
The collective state went on to report that soon Ohio, Illinois, Michigan, Kentucky, and Canada would all become Indiana. Persons close to Phoenix area friends Jake Welter and Mike Seflin confirmed Friday that the 2 men are absolutely incapable of greeting each other like normal human beings.
Beep, 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 beep.
Sources say the 2 full-grown men simply cannot walk into a room and shake each other's hands, relying instead on elaborate dances, forced pop culture references, and extended fake fighting. Neither Welter nor Seflin was available for comment as they were busy pretending to rip each other's faces off.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and we're doing the second hour now of this live Saturday edition. We got time for you. If you want to join us here on the radio, our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. New Zealand government agents talking about banning semi-automatic rifles apparently now. It's Ian and Mark here in the studio tonight. We'll take your calls and thoughts. This, of course, in the wake of a massive slaughter of innocent people. Apparently, at least 50 have died at the hands of what appears to be just one gunman. at this point. Even though some other arrests have been made, news that has come out since then has shown that those people may have just simply been other folks who were armed either legally or illegally in the vicinity of the shooter, not anyone else who was actually involved.
And the government
in
dislikes that so much that they've actually arrested one guy who armed himself and was saving kids.
That's right, and then they shamed him publicly for it.
Yeah.
So we can talk to you. Our number 855-450-FREE. Let's go to the phones, to the fun. We've got Mike in Virginia Beach listening to WNIS. Hello, Mike.
Hello, guys.
Hey. Welcome.
Listen, I just want to tell you I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
All right.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
What are you mad about?
Well, I'll tell you something. There's something that needs to be banned even more than guns do, because these items have affected me personally, as well as millions and, in fact, billions of people around the world, and these inanimate objects have hurt literally millions and millions of people and continue to do so on a daily basis.
Cigarettes?
They need to be banned. How's that?
Cigarettes?
No.
Tell me, what is it?
Forks, spoons, and knives.
Dangerous.
That's why I'm overweight.
You could put an eye in with that
Because
stuff.
of those dadgum forks, spoons, and knives. Those inanimate objects have got to be banned.
So what you're saying is you have no self-control whatsoever, and you need the government. You need the government to come along and make a better life for you.
Not saying that at all.
Exactly right. I'm blaming it on the forks, spoons, and knives. It has nothing to do with me.
Right. You didn't pick up the fork. It just did it all on its own.
Last night I ate more than half a pizza by myself. I didn't use
With
a
no
fork or a knife.
That's a good point. Ban hands.
Well, that's about the same logic as banning an inanimate
It is.
object.
It is. Yeah, it's a great
gun.
point. It's a great point. You're absolutely right. You know, these are tools that in many cases, in most cases, are used for self-defense. They're used for people to save themselves from a violent act being committed or to save another person
More than a
from
million
violent
times a year in the United States, according to a government report from the 90s.
Right, and that's it's a tough statistic to negotiate.
It's the only one we've got.
Right, because you never know how many times it's really used. You could say maybe at least 1 million, because a lot of people don't report. If they pull a gun on a criminal or would-be criminal in a dark parking lot and scare that person away, no shot is fired, then that's not going to, in a lot of cases, they're not going to call the cops to let them know. They're just going to go home after that.
If that was in Chicago, we'd better be careful.
Well, there was a famous actor that said one time, and I subscribe to his quote, "Out of my cold, dead hands, you can have my gun."
Thank you, Mike, for your call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Let's go to Bill, listening to WIBC FM in Indianapolis. Hello, Bill.
Hey, how are you guys tonight? Thanks
Good,
for
Bill.
taking my call.
Go ahead.
And thanks for letting me pick your brain
Sorry.
just for a second.
Please.
It sounds like Trump is an absolute fool
What now?
for not using this to pivot and say, this is more of an immigration issue for New Zealand. The guy was from Australia, right? Shouldn't we be taking a better look at people coming in instead of looking at it as a gun issue? I think we're all kind of missing the mark.
Well, that would have stopped it, right? Instead, he'd have had to have shot up in a mosque in Australia instead, if he couldn't move to New Zealand, right?
Well, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Is it a gun issue, really, or is it an immigration issue?
No, it's a
Both ways.
psychopath issue is what it is.
Yeah, restricting humans from traveling across political lines isn't going to stop crime.
No.
Right, and I've listened to you guys before, and I kind of figured that would be the way. Thanks for taking my call and let me get in there.
Thanks for being here, Bill. Appreciate it, man. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We continue. Sydney is listening in Indianapolis, also to WIBC FM. Hello, Sydney.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, what's on your mind?
I'm listening to this segment about New Zealand government wanting to ban automatic weapons entirely.
Semi-automatic. Semi-automatic, just to be clear. Yeah.
Weapons. One, it's not a gun issue. It's not an immigration issue. It's a people issue.
Mm-hmm.
We are living in a society right now that has completely desensitized our youth to death in its entirety. Like, I'm 21 years old, and I grew up watching kids that I was babysitting playing first-person shooter games, and they were watching this quite realistic vision of death in front of them. And they were completely unfazed. We are creating this this mentality that we shouldn't fear guns, that we shouldn't have a respect for guns. And I think by saying, oh, well, guns are the issue, guns aren't the issue. You take away the gun, the man still has a fist, he still has a knife, he still has a will to do harm. It is about teaching society how to properly help one another and not instilling fear in one another, because the one singular thing stronger than fear is hope. If we can instill hope in one another that we can create a better tomorrow, that we can educate one another, that we can love one another based on the simple fact alone that we're all human beings, then we'd have a better society. But that's in an idealistic, perfect world.
I like what you're saying there. I like the idea. And Mark, you touched on fear as a real detrimental concept that governments love to spread. These hate groups love to spread fear.
Yeah, pretty much any organization that wants to set people apart. I tend to agree with what you say, too.
And the opposite,
I would like to point out that crime has gone down over time. Violent crime has gone down over time. That we actually have fewer shootings and fewer people are dying from gun violence in the United States.
Despite the violent video games.
I couldn't tell you what's going on in New Zealand. I'm not an expert at that. But even with violent video games,
I'd be
I understand
real
where you're
cautious.
coming from. I mean, I do think, well, when I was a kid, we'd watch the Bruce Lee movies and he'd run around trying to karate chop people, right? So I'm not going to say media has nothing to do with these things. At the same time, I don't. What we can see is that crime's gone down as first-person shooters have gotten more popular. I'm not entirely sure that we can. I wouldn't want to blame it on this generation. I don't want to blame it on those sorts of things. What I do want to say is that I mean, we do have to education's the way to look here, and as people feel they're being ostracized from society, they're going to lash out.
I mean, I think it's interesting to say that it's desensitization. I would be very cautious to blame any kind of media, whether they be video games or violent movies or anything like that, because psychopaths have always existed, and these are people who have no empathy for other human beings. So if there's anything that's been desensitized, it is humans being desensitized from the humanity of their fellow man. And that's being done by these hate groups, by the governments who want you to believe that the Islamists are your enemy, or they want you to believe that, fill in the blank.
Well, some fat kid living in his mom's basement who goes on 4chan is your enemy.
Apparently now that's the case. Yeah, I don't know if he was fat, but did you see a picture of him?
I didn't see a picture of him, but I mean, the idea out there is that there's this angry white male that is bubbling, just ready to bubble over at any moment and take down your. I mean, I saw memes just like that, and they're out there. They're If you think you can figure somebody out by looking at them, you probably have strayed off on in the wrong direction.
Sydney, good call. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us here tonight. Our toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got our Discord on-air call-in line rooms that are open and available to you. And we've actually got a couple folks on the Discord, so we're going to get to that here in just a bit. You can jump into the Discord over at discord.lrn.fm, and that is where the conversation continues both before, during, and after the show, so be sure you check that out. It is a free, one of the myriad of free services that you get here from Free Talk Live. Those other talk show hosts, they want to charge you for accessing their websites. Ours is free. All the archives that you can download, that you could possibly listen to. Video footage from the YouTube channels, Twitches, and all that. Head over to freetalklive.com as we continue with your calls and thoughts on not just the New Zealand slaughter, this horrifying killing that's been going on, but your calls about anything are welcome here on Free Talk Live. Open phones every night. 855-450-FREE. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale, totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at helpmetakebitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial on in toll free, bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE. It's brought to you by Bitcoin.com, your premier source for everything Bitcoin related. It's an exhausting website. There's actually a lot over there at Bitcoin.com. But if you're brand new to Bitcoin, check out their Bitcoin Academy. It'll help walk you through some of the basics. And there's also instructions on how to choose a Bitcoin wallet and buy Bitcoin. And they'll show you where you can spend your Bitcoin, you can read the latest news, or engage with the community on their Bitcoin forum. Just get on over to Bitcoin.com. It's not too late to get into the world of cryptocurrency. Even though Bitcoin did cross $4,000 per coin, I think that was earlier today, that sounds like it's out of your reach. Well, it's okay. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. If you want to get into crypto in Bitcoin, you can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. You can buy as little as 10 or $20 worth, depending on where and how you do it. So head over to Bitcoin.com to get started as we continue with your calls and thoughts. We'll go to Gene, the Christian anarchist, on the line here on our Discord call-in lines. Go ahead, Gene.
Yeah, I wanted to go a little bit down that road Mark brought up earlier about fear being used to control us.
Yeah.
And part of that is this fear of immigrants. And I want to take on two of the major arguments against allowing Islamic immigrants into this country. Number one, they say, oh, they're going to multiply and have more kids than us, and they're going to outnumber us. And number two is that their children are going to be Muslim terrorists. Number one, with the multiplication factor, is it's not because a guy can have 4 wives or whatever, that they can have more children. It's really not the case, because offspring are determined by the number of women available and the number of females. That's true in any husbandry or farming or whatever you do. It's not dependent on the guy. It's dependent on how many women there are. So if you only have 1 woman and 1 guy, they can only make so many babies, right? And he can't have 4 wives if there's only 1 of each immigrating into the country.
1 guy and 4 women isn't going to have more children than 4 guys and 4 women.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, but anyway, this whole idea that just because they're allowed more wives, they're going to have more children, it doesn't even.
Well, legalize polygamy. I mean, look, if that's what the fear is, then let the Mormons start to have a bunch of wives or whatever, or whoever it is that wants to have multiple husbands or wives. They should be free to do that too. Anybody of any religious belief or none whatsoever should be able to do that. Here, even if it's true, let's accept as true that the Muslims are having more kids than the Christians are. Where's all the terrorism exactly? You know, these people have been coming here for decades. So, those kids have grown up.
Anyway. Yeah, but it can't be true anyway, because 50% of the population is women and 50% is men. So, I mean, sooner or later, somebody's going to not have a wife because somebody else has 2 wives.
But I'll say this.
It works out that way.
Muslims definitely are not afraid of having a bunch of kids. I mean, Will Coley, who has been a co-host here on Free Talk Live, he's got 5 kids. I mean, as far as the people that I know in my life with children, Will Coley has the most children.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw someone in the mall today that had 6 kids, and they were not Muslim.
Okay.
So, and the other thing is this idea that their children are going to become terrorists.
Right.
They're going to become
extreme
Muslims.
Because that's ridiculous.
This is ridiculous. I mean, we have a lot of patients in our clinic who are Muslim immigrants. And they come into us, the parents can't speak very good English. The kids come in as translators. Guess what? The girls that come in as translators, the young girls, they're not wearing hijab. You know, grandma may be wearing a hijab, but the kids are not wearing
the headscarf.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing, I guess, from head to toe. You know, but the young,
there's a few
the young
types,
Muslims. Yeah, the young Muslims will maybe have a modest headscarf. They might be wearing a dress that goes above the knee, and you know, my wife will even say to him, "Well, are you supposed to be wearing that?" And she just kind of shrugs, you know, because the young people always rebel against the parents, including Muslim young people. Always, this has been the case.
It's the way of the world
since time immemorial. Young people rebel against their parents. So to think that the young Muslim kids are all going to grow up and be terrorists is absolutely absurd. Now, there might be 1 or 2, but then there might be 1 or 2 white people that grow up to be terrorists too. So
guess what? Psychopaths exist within all religious belief systems, and they're still a very small minority of any one of them.
The fear is a tool used to divide us so that we don't concentrate on the true enemy of liberty, and that's the goonerment.
Yep.
It always is the goonerment. It's never your next door neighbor. They can't take away your liberty. So,
absolutely.
Well, they can vote.
Yeah, for whatever good that does.
Well, voting doesn't take away your liberty. That's just what people do to try to control the government. The government and their demands and people's obedience to them is what destroys liberty.
Well, let's not forget what the government is.
It's
the government
is
people. Right.
That's
and
right.
So it's people's obedience to people.
Yeah, that's what it is.
People who are no better
arbitrary
than them.
rule of other human beings whose S stinks too. Thank you, Gene, for your call tonight. That's Gene, the Christian anarchist. He hangs out on our Discord and sounded great, almost like he's sitting here in the studio with us, which he has been known to do in the past. You can go to the Discord server and join him over at discord.lrn.fm as we continue here. Let's go to Pat in Michigan. Pat, where are you calling from tonight?
Northern Michigan, just by the Thunder Bay, top of the mitten.
Excellent. Welcome. You're on Free Talk Live.
All right. Well, I just retrieved from my archives, I must have gotten it in the mail a long time ago, a movie called Obsession.
Okay.
And it is the radical Islam's war against the West. Right? And basically what it comes down to, as far as the numbers, there's 1 billion Muslims in the world. 15% of them have been radicalized.
Where'd you get that number from?
And, well, off this movie.
Okay.
And what year was this movie made?
I'm only about 30 minutes. I'm only about 30 minutes into it. No, this all seems pretty factual. I mean, they're showing clerics and their rants and the hatred and the.
Oh, I'm sure you can find that. I wouldn't claim that you couldn't find that. I just don't. 15% of 1 billion people is a lot of people.
Yeah, there's no evidence that there's that many people.
And they're spread all over the world. So there's basically small war fronts everywhere.
I mean, who was it that made the claim? 15%.
I don't know. This thing was mailed out of New York, believe it or not. I can't believe it.
No, I'm asking you, when you were watching the movie, you said you watched a half an hour of this movie that you called to tell us about, called Obsession, and that the claim was made that 15% of Muslims have been radicalized. I would like to know who made the claim.
I didn't.
Was it somebody who was being interviewed in the movie? Was it the narrator of the film?
No. It was probably a quote from some news, or I don't know.
So you don't know. So this is one of the things that you got to be careful with. Okay.
All I'm saying is this thing was seen on CNN and Fox.
It doesn't matter to me where it was shown.
9/11.
Yeah, sure. It just sounds like straight up propaganda. Okay, and that's what documentaries are all about. And I say that as somebody who is a documentary producer. Okay, thank you, Pat, for the call tonight. I appreciate it. When you make a documentary film, there's a certain narrative that goes along with that documentary film. Most documentaries aren't known for, presenting both sides of an issue in a fair light. And so if somebody makes a claim in a movie, that doesn't necessarily mean that claim is true. Just saying. 855-450-FREE. You can bring up what you want on Free Talk Live.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Ted Anderson telling you about Jordan Rubin's Beyond Organic Green-Fed Raw Cheddar Artesian Cheese featuring whole milk created through ancient dairy breeding, unpasteurized, untreated whole milk on the same farm the cows graze, containing natural sources of omega-3s, CLA protein, calcium, probiotics, and enzymes. I have never tasted cheese this good, and you need to try it. Contact your Longevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love, and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Morsels, helping you create special moments and memories your family will cherish forever. Visit us at tollhouse.com. You may bake for birthdays and holidays, but why stop there? Sweeten up the rest of the year by designating monthly dessert days. Treat your family to one of their favorites or surprise them with something new. Either way, you'll create a tradition everyone will love. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. They're open and available to you. Go to discord.lrn.fm. Coming up in looks like about 3 months from now, June 13th through the 18th, it's going to be Forkfest 2019. Great excuse to come up to New Hampshire and check out, the lay of the land here. You're going to see the beautiful White Mountains, Rogers Campground. It's an absolutely incredible view. Great place to be and spend 5 days with people that care about freedom. Those are the kinds of folks who attend Forkfest. Liberty-minded folks, voluntarists, liberty-loving anarchists, libertarians. They'll be there June 13th through the 18th. Forkfest is not like other camping festivals in that there's no organizer for Forkfest. There's no
speakers list.
Board of directors. Well, there's no official speakers list. Mark, if you wanted to put a speaker series on, you could make a list of speakers and have a microphone and a podium or something like that and a tent and chairs if you wanted to. I don't know if you want to. Some people could, throw a musical event. I know that the guys from AnyPay.global are going to be doing a rave tent every single night this year. They've committed to that. Then also Jay Noon is going to be doing Man Camp, which will be classes that I guess he'll be offering and have different teachers for different topics.
People showing people how to weld and
to do manly things.
Yeah,
right.
Do all kinds of stuff.
So those are a couple of the things that have been announced so far. And again, all of this is being done on a decentralized basis. So if there's something that you think should happen, then you ought to make it happen at Forkfest 2019. Now, of course, it happens the 5 days in advance of the Porcupine Freedom Festival, which is an organized festival with a ticket price and organizers and, a speakers list and all that. And that's a fine festival as well. So you can come up and go to both of them if you like. But again, Forkfest is June 13th through the 18th. Go to forkfest.party. You can learn more about the event there and connect to the unofficial Telegram chat, the unofficial Forkfest forum, because everything is unofficial with Forkfest. It's forkfest.party. We will be there, by the way, broadcasting Free Talk Live from the event.
Yeah, it'll be a great time. Forkfest.party.
That's right.
If you want to go see it. So we've had a few calls. I didn't actually expect them tonight. I guess I wasn't thinking. I don't know why I didn't think it. Somebody goes in and shoots up a couple of mosques, and you're not going to get some people who are, scared of Muslims calling in. I just didn't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But
here they are.
Yeah, and I'm not here to lambaste anybody or anything like that. I understand how you feel. I understand your culture. I understand your religion. Those are the ones I'm most familiar with. But I'm going to posit a conspiracy theory. Here's my conspiracy theory. There's a group of people that have taken over control of this government and frankly have control over governments around the world. And those people want you scared of people from other countries. And what they do is they blow up the fears. They amplify the fears that you have surrounding different people and different cultures and things like that. Are there and they do this in other countries too. People who are on the mirror side of this in other countries. Now, some of them are preacher men, some of them are politicians, but they're all people with power. And as a result, we have what we have. If the Muslim world had come into Europe and taken a ruler and a compass and drawn a bunch of lines all over the place, there'd be all kinds of internal strife in Europe as a result. But the borders in Europe are a little more organic than that. Not much more, and there were problems relatively recently in Europe. But I can see why, with the fall of the Ottoman Empire that was taken down by World War I and the goals of European countries, they kind of got brought into it because of their relationship with Germany. I can see why there's this upheaval that continues to go on as the Western world continues to tell the Islamic world how it's going to live and all that stuff. I'm not
insulting.
Well, look, it's
to tell somebody how to live.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, you can live how you want in your little plot of land.
Yeah.
You want to come over here, you got to live a certain way. And there's a solution, by the way. Everybody wants to point to Europe. Everybody wants to point to France. Everybody wants to point to Sweden and all these other
so-called no-go zones?
These no-go zones or whatever it is. Here's why this works. It's welfare. If you didn't have welfare, then Abdul wouldn't be able to bring his wife and keep her huddled up in some Section 8 housing where she doesn't get around to meet people. Once Abdullah gets out there and she starts meeting the other ladies, suddenly she's like, I like blue jeans. I like freedom. I like these things that are better. And you're not going to keep me in this house anymore, all wrapped up and tight anymore, Abdul. I'm sick of it. And then he has to listen to it until he finally gives her a little more freedom. And that's how this stuff works. If she got to go out and get a job, because she had to go out and get a job because, well, they're not getting a check. Well, then you're going to see her introduced to Western values much more quickly.
That's a good point.
I think that Europe is being torn apart by the welfare state, not by the introduction of Muslims.
Oh, absolutely. The Yellow Jackets are back out, by the way. I don't know if you saw that headline today. They're protesting again in France. For those that aren't familiar, that's something that was going on in December, I think, in January. That was pretty strong. Every single weekend they were out there protesting, and apparently the protests this weekend have turned violent yet again. It's some sort of an ultimatum that they're giving, and of course they want more welfare. That's what it's about.
That's what it's always
about. They demand it. Once they start getting it, they get a taste for it. And then they believe that, it's the entitlement mentality, right? They believe that they're entitled to it. If you try to take it from them, they get real mad, and they want more.
Yeah, well, see what happens when you have a domesticated cat that you feed every day and then stop feeding it.
We go to Jacob. He's listening to WIBC FM in Indianapolis. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hi, guys. I want to thank you for taking my call.
Of course.
And I thank you for your fresh libertarian perspective.
Thank you. What were you calling about, though?
You guys are talking about the New Zealand shooting.
Yeah.
It's sad to hear about. And all I can say is hate breeds hate,
Sure does.
And something else I'd like to talk about.
Before you do that, though, I'd like to say this to the point of hate breeding hate. Somebody has to stop the cycle of violence. Somebody has to stop the cycle of hatred and turn towards forgiveness. And I understand how hard that must be in circumstances like this. But as long as this cycle continues, everybody's going to lose.
But people do that, Ian. That's collectivist thinking you're talking about there.
I'm talking about every individual. I'm talking about every individual.
Well, you
needs
said somebody,
to do those things.
And
yeah, like everybody.
8 billion people on the planet need to do this, and anytime you have a plan that includes everybody,
I understand that.
Right.
I understand that that's not going to happen, but that doesn't mean that I shouldn't talk about what people ought to do.
You ought to abandon fear and the consequent hate, because hate comes from fear. You should abandon fear for your own good, not for the good of the world. for yourself.
But it will manifest outward into the world.
Yes, it absolutely will, but do it for yourself.
Yes.
Because living in fear, you're never going to find a terrorist. Not one that doesn't work for the government, at least.
Yeah, they're easy to find.
Yeah, they're easy to find. You're not going to find a terrorist. And that, worrying about them, forget about it.
Yeah.
It's not
Go
worth
ahead,
your
Jacob.
time.
Also, I wanted to talk about Trump's emergency declaration on the wall.
Okay.
And, the Senate trying to, kind of override or block it this week.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on that and how, if this was someone else in the White House, what's stopping them from saying, oh, we have another shooting. This isn't a national emergency. Time to seize all guns. Oh, no, global warming. Time to seize all cars. What is stopping them from kind of going in that direction? Do you think the national emergency...
Well, there actually is a proposal to seize all cars, isn't there?
Yeah, the Green New Deal.
The Green New Deal. Hang on, Jacob. We can talk about it further if you want to. We can come back here with that discussion. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Well, there is that pesky Constitution that kind of gets in the way of seizing all guns in most places, at least here in the United States. That's not to say that there aren't cities like Chicago and elsewhere that have severely restricted those freedoms. More coming up here, though. You're welcome to comment. 855-450-FREE. Join us on the radio. It's Free Talk Live.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. shows.lrn.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You may dial toll-free and take control of the airwaves and bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. By the way, thanks to John T. Suter, who is a Free Talk Live Silver amplifier. He's somebody who gives $5 a month to Free Talk Live and the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And the idea is simple. You send in that $5 a month via PayPal or credit card or even Bitcoin BTC. And we will use that money to promote Free Talk Live, to get on new radio stations. We've got 194 great AM and FM radio stations across the United States and beyond, all the way out to Guam. We've got various different internet and satellite methods of people receiving and hearing this show and the ideas of peace and liberty and freedom that we talk about in cryptocurrencies pretty often here on the radio. So if you want us to do more of that, if you want us to do, because we already do 7 days a week, but if you want us to get on more radio stations, you want to help us with that, please join the AMP program like John Suter has done. You can do it for $5 a month over at amp.freetalklive.com. It's ampamp.freetalklive.com, and we certainly appreciate it, and you'll get some cool perks and some benefits for doing so. So please, amp.freetalklive.com. Makes a big difference for us. And we've been having some email troubles, by the way, over the last couple of weeks. So if you joined and you didn't get an email confirming that, feel free to reach out to me. Let me know. Everything should be fine, but you may have just missed an email if you've joined within the last couple of weeks. I apologize for any inconvenience that may have caused you. So once again, it's amp.freetalklive.com. As we go back to Jacob listening to WIBC. Jacob, you'd called about, why is it that the government doesn't, I don't want to put words in your mouth, so please correct me if I'm wrong on this, but just to recap, why is the government not yet proposing to seize all guns in the United States or to seize cars from people because of, environmental pollution or guns for shooting people or whatever? Is that kind of what your question was?
No, I'm sorry. No. I just wanted to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on Trump's emergency declaration, whether it was a good idea or bad. My personal spin, I do not think it was a great idea. I'm just kind of concerned about what one of these, communist Democrats would do if they're elected, if they would, use a national emergency to take all guns or seize all cars, seize houses, where they would draw the line or,
I
not
see
at
what
all.
you're saying.
Also, Trump's agreement or lack of agreement with China on free trade. I think they extended the deadline on the tariffs.
On the raising the tariffs again, yes.
It's just kind of interesting to me how kind of coverage of that has kind of gone away.
The Trump tariffs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the media is like a kid with ADHD, right? It's always looking for the new exciting story. So let me talk about the emergency declaration.
Yeah.
I have heard legal explanations of the emergency declaration, and I guess if you believe that lawyers are, I'm from the South, so we call them liars down from there, that liars are people that should be listened to. Well, okay, the White House liars made a pretty good explanation in my mind as to what is legal or whatever based on, and why we don't have to worry about the Democrats doing it in the future when they get in. Whatever. My statement would be building a wall is a bad idea. They're talking about $5 billion for building a wall, and that may very well be true. Putting up a fence isn't that expensive. But if you put up a fence, somebody's going to put a hole in it if you don't have guards on that fence all the time. Look, I'm not talking about philosophical stuff. I have real problems with walls philosophically. I'm talking about practicality. I worked at a prison for a time period, and it isn't the fence. It isn't the wall that keeps the convicts in. It's the guys on the other side with a gun that keeps the convicts in. If you gave, they've got bolt cutters in Mexico. They have angle grinders in Mexico. They have TNT in Mexico. Okay, so you put some, put up a little bit of, video surveillance equipment on this wall. Big, fat, hairy deal. Now you've doubled the price. You have to have somebody who can respond there within 10 minutes. Otherwise, these coyotes are just going to continue doing what they're doing. They'll cut a hole in the fence. They'll blow a hole in the fence. They'll do whatever they do to the fence, and they'll get everybody through in 10 minutes. And then these officers that are responding an hour later, because it's hard to get through the desert in a truck. They're not going to be able to find anybody. It's not going to change anything. A wall is a depreciating asset, and it's going to be destroyed very quickly. I think it's a bad idea, and I'm not interested in paying for it. If you're interested in paying for it, by God, let's run a GoFundMe so you can go ahead and pay for it.
So my opinion on the concept of a national emergency is it shouldn't exist. If you're going to have a government, a state, which, of course, I'm against the idea of a coercive state at all. But as long as one exists, the entire concept of emergency in the world of legal land is basically a complete loophole that you can drive a Mack truck through as far as, let's just throw the rules out. It's an emergency. Yeah, the Constitution, it means something to you. But you know what? It's an emergency, so forget about it.
And somebody's always going to call the emergency an emergency. I mean, even if the
or a non-emergency, an emergency.
Well, whatever.
Yeah. Something they want politically is now an emergency.
Right. When you give a politician, or as Americans tend to think of them, liars and thieves, the opportunity to say, well, here's a little blank check that you can write out whenever you feel like it. They're going to do that, people.
They sure are. And it wasn't just Trump. National emergencies have been declared.
Abraham Lincoln suspended habeas corpus.
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln incarcerated newspapermen.
Yeah. Sick.
The press.
Not a hero. Not a good guy.
There's always something. There's always some reason to suspend the rule of law.
Sure.
There's always some reason.
That's the law of necessity
to
is what it's
set
called.
aside morality.
Yep.
And believe me, you do not want to give that power to politicians. You may like this politician. I kind of do, less so this week than I did a few weeks ago, but whatever. Whatever. I don't care. I don't want to argue about which one of these liars and thieves is a better liar and thief, because that's a boring. We'll be doing that for 2 years, starting really soon. I like my liar and thief better. Yeah. No, my liar and thief is better. It's going to be boring, people, but just get prepared. That's what talk radio does.
Yeah, we won't do a whole lot of it here, I'll tell you that, because I find that crap, like you said, I find it to be absolutely intolerable.
Right.
These idiots out there trying to tell everybody how to live their lives, and people get so obsessed over it.
And they'll use whatever trick in the book. You like Bernie Sanders and not Elizabeth Warren? You must be a misogynist.
Let's go to Jimmy listening to WGOW FM or maybe AM in Chattanooga.
Hey,
Jimmy,
boys, great show.
Thanks, dude. Go ahead.
I wanted to comment on the New Zealand incident.
Go for it.
I wanted to mention it. I wanted to mention that it looks like we've got a failed government. Our governmental model looks like it's failed now.
Which one?
But on the U.S. Republic, the government we were running our republic is pretty much failed. It looks like. But
so would you agree then, if the government has failed, that we should abandon the concept of the United States and just go with 50 different states, let every state kind of do its own thing, like that once upon a time?
Well, no, I am not a Democrat. No,
what?
I'm not a Democrat.
What's that have to do with being a Democrat?
Well, I mean, I guess that's what they certainly propose.
No, definitely not. I mean,
the Democrats want the United States federal government to control your life pretty thoroughly.
Yeah,
they're not going to use your state government to go after your gun rights.
I went down to a government. Well, I mean, they would if they could, but I went down to a Democrat rally here in Keene after Trump got elected and talked to them about secession, and there was a bunch of them who were in favor of, not in favor of secession. They want to take back over the U.S. government and wield it to their benefit. So I'm asking you if you support forgetting about the United States, abolish the U.S. and let the Democrats have California. What do you care?
Yeah, well, they're pushing for a one-party government, so that's quite a change.
Okay, but that's not what I'm talking about. Do you understand what I asked you about? I asked you. You said you think it's a failure. Okay, so I agree with you. The government is a failure. It fails at everything that they try to do, and it certainly has not succeeded at protecting people's rights. Right, it has not succeeded at protecting people's rights, which is the ostensible reason for the republic. Right?
That's not my issue. It's just not working the way it was designed and set up to.
But doesn't that mean you should give up if if it's not working right, and there might be a better way of doing things, which is to say to decentralize the government and have more choices?
I'm not for a hard reset. I mean, it looks like they're.
What kind of Southerner are you?
In the media.
Aren't you from Tennessee?
No, I'm from Boston, Tennessee.
Oh,
and
Boston?
All parts in between and
okay, that explains it.
That's ridiculous.
That does explain it.
Ridiculous.
I was going to ask you about the New Zealand mosque shooting.
Stand by. We'll let you get to that. Coming up here, Jimmy. Jimmy from Boston, now in Tennessee. Yankee.
Look, I don't know why you go that way. Look, I mean,
He's trying to keep the union together.
Well,
more coming up here in moments.
The government has failed. He's
with
right about
Jimmy,
that.
the unionist. It's Free Talk Live.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Introducing Reveal from GCNlife.com. Beverly Hills dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman invented Reveal, which contains polypeptides with natural botanicals and no parabens, sulfates, silicones, or dyes for a salon-quality hair growth product. Reveal. Here's Dr. Newman.
I have treated a lot of patients who lose their hair and they lose their confidence. We've created a unique set of polypeptides, which we call HPT6. The HPT6 contains the polypeptides from 6 different plants. The scalp infusion treatment should be used on wet or dry scalp. The Reveal hair care system is designed to be used for men and women alike.
Get Reveal at GCNlife.com with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try Reveal today at GCNlife.com or 844-443-6637. Plus a discount up to 25% off for Reveal at GCNlife.com or 844-443-6637.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the Liberty Beat for Thursday, March 14th, 2019. Gold opened the day at $1,298. Silver opened at $15.22. And Bitcoin is trading around $3,850. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online, innoscale.net. In the news, in a close vote of 54 to 46, the United States Senate on Wednesday passed a joint resolution calling for the end of U.S. military involvement in the Yemen war, noting that no such involvement was ever authorized by Congress. Debate on the resolution, as in the past, centered on arguments that the U.S. involvement isn't technically a war in and of itself, and that ending the war would be bad for Israel. On the other side, the focus was heavily on Saudi war crimes that the U.S. has been supporting. The resolution came with an amendment by Senator Rand Paul, which seeks to ensure that no language in the bill inadvertently authorizes any other wars. The Pentagon on Wednesday announced it has allocated $300 million to support U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces, as well as $250 million to secure the borders of Syria's neighbors. The funding is part of the 2020 budget. The administration of U.S. President Donald Trump asked Congress to allocate a total budget of $718.3 billion to the Pentagon. The anti-media reports that according to budget documents, out of $718.3 billion, $544.5 billion has been allocated as a core budget, while $173.8 billion is allocated for potential overseas operations known as the War Fund. Of the War Fund, $9.2 billion has been allocated for urgent situations, including the wall that Trump is planning to build on the border with Mexico. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Bray Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Bray Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. More info is online at mybraybotanicals.com. And Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% off your purchase by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the Liberty Beat for Thursday, March 14th, 2019. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. YouTube has finally gotten around to shutting down a notorious softcore pedocentric channel months after its creator was arrested in Central Florida for molesting a 15-year-old girl in a hotel room near Walt Disney World. The anti-media reports that UK-based Ian Rylett was arrested in August of 2018 on suspicion of molesting the teen, shortly after she signed a contract to appear on the 55-year-old's YouTube channels, one of which was 7 Supergirls. In response, YouTube has finally shut down the operation. 2 individuals involved in a violent attack on the North Korean embassy in Madrid have reportedly been linked by Spanish authorities to the CIA. According to a report from the anti-media, 2 of the 10 assailants who broke into the embassy and interrogated diplomatic staff have been identified and have connections to the U.S. intelligence agency. The CIA has denied involvement in the attack. A family in San Antonio, Texas, is heartbroken and searching for answers this week after a San Antonio police officer shot and killed their chihuahua in their backyard. The Free Thought Project says that after the officer shot the tiny dog, he gave no reason for doing so and simply left. Neighbors who heard the gunshot were startled and also wanted to know why a cop would open fire in a residential area to shoot and kill a tiny chihuahua. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat for Thursday, March 14th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Frustrated Superman fans told reporters Monday that the economically healthy and financially stable Daily Planet newspaper is now the most unrealistic aspect of the comic books universe. Acknowledging that enjoying the adventures of a superhero that can fly, lift cars over his head, and shoot beams of light out of his eyes requires some suspension of disbelief, longtime readers said even the comic's most exciting stories are regularly ruined by the implausibility of a thriving daily newspaper, whose advertising revenue and circulation numbers have not at all been threatened by a media landscape overtaken by laptops, smartphones, and aggregation websites.
Look, I could play along with Superman using his breath to freeze a volcano or clapping his hands together to cause some sort of sonic boom, but seeing images of a thriving Daily Planet newsroom not facing layoffs or dwindling home subscriptions just really takes me out of the story. No one in Metropolis has realized they could get news online faster and for free?
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free, bring up whatever you want here as we launch into the third hour of this live Saturday edition of the show. You can dial in at 855-450 free, bring up whatever you want, although the discussion tonight has mostly focused around issues surrounding the New Zealand mass shootings that happened early yesterday. Just absolutely horrifying what happened. 50 people now apparently are dead as a result of this psychopath who armed up with, I think, 5 guns or something like that he legally owned down there. And according to another article, he was from Australia, so Gene was correct about that earlier, but had the guns in New Zealand, so I guess they have some sort of reciprocity or whatever. That would be my best guess.
Or you can go there and own a gun. A semi-automatic rifle there is the easiest thing to own, and it's
for now
a good thing to for now was the easiest thing to own. It's basically impossible to own a handgun. I mean, a semi-automatic rifle can be used for hunting. If you don't have a semi-automatic, that means, let's explain what a semi-automatic rifle is for people.
Yeah, maybe some people don't know.
A semi-automatic rifle means one bullet, one trigger pull.
Mm-hmm.
So you pull the trigger, bang, 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 bang. You pull trigger pull, trigger pull,
as
trigger
fast
pull.
as you can pull the trigger, it will shoot.
Right. And
so it's not automatic where you hold the trigger down and it just continues to shoot.
Right. You can have bolt action rifles, which may have extra bullets in them, more than one bullet in them, but you have to pull this bolt back and forth in order to advance the bullet. You can have single load rifles, like a muzzle loader or something like that, and there's probably some out there. I can think of sort of double-barreled shotguns are kind of like single loads, except they're double loads. So I just want people to understand what they are. People often get scared of this word automatic, as though you pull a trigger and a whole bunch of bullets fly out, and all the bullets have homing beacons on them, and every one of them hits a target.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Well, that
doesn't exist.
It would solve some problems. Yeah. At some point, that will be taken care of. It won't be like was it Who Framed Roger Rabbit anymore.
Let's go to your calls and thoughts here. You can bring up whatever you want. We had Jimmy on the line listening in Chattanooga to WGOW. Jimmy, you had some sort of question or issue you wanted to bring up. Go ahead.
Great show. Great boys. I listened to you. I was going to mention, bring up the topic of the latest New Zealand mass shooting. And yes. I was thinking, like, over the last, say, 50 years, I guess we could all agree that there's been hundreds of shootings in mosques and churches and nightclubs and so forth, where there's been sometimes, this number, 50 or so killed.
This is pretty rare. I mean, this is a pretty unusual number. Certainly for New Zealand, this is the most or the worst mass shooting they've ever had. And as far as in the United States, there have been a bunch of them, but they're not all in mosques or nightclubs or anything like that. I mean, you could probably count them on one hand.
Africa, Iraq, France, all over the world, Pakistan, blow up, detonate and blow up, and it's all. This is the first one that is a blowback against Islam. All the rest of them have been Islamic against whoever.
Oh no, that's not true at all. Not true at all, sir. Thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate it. That's not true.
Yeah, there was the guy up in, I think it was Minnesota, that attacked the Sikhs, thinking they were Muslim. There's been all kinds of attacks.
There was a black church that was attacked, remember,
well, this
in the
is
South?
blowback against Muslims, he said, particularly. So
yeah, I'm talking about the different types of shootings. He went down this list of different types of mass killings, and I'm pointing out that it's not just Muslims being attacked, it's not just Muslims attacking, it's all kinds of lunatics who are pulling triggers on different people, different groups of people that they're blaming. There's, of course, young people in schools who've been attacked on a myriad of occasions here in the United States, and we've seen a multitude of a couple of different that I can think of, church-related attacks here on different religions. So I would not say it was just the Muslims attacking people. In fact, that seems to be the least of it in the United States, at least. Now, I can't speak to other countries and how often these things happen there. I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, there's plenty of Muslim attacks in Muslim countries, for instance.
In many cases, against other Muslims.
Americans don't seem to worry about that one.
Yeah. Let's continue with your calls and thoughts. Let's go to Bob, listening in Indianapolis to WIBC-FM. Hey, Bob.
Hey, guys. How you doing tonight?
Welcome, sir. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Excellent. Hey, I just wanted to maybe clarify things a little bit about the president's declaration of an emergency and the authority he used.
Okay.
The law, as much as I may or may not disagree with it, the law does authorize him to make those emergency declarations.
Yep, it does.
And I think what most of the, I guess probably most people that are mad about it, are that I don't know if it's that same law or other authorities allow him to reprogram money by making that emergency declaration.
What does reprogram money mean?
That means he's taking money from the defense budget and using it to build the wall.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, so I believe he's using military equipment to do the wall building and that sort of thing. So, if it's an exercise, I thought that the explanation was pretty legit sounding, but then don't worry, when the Democrats get in power, they're going to have expensive lawyers that are going to make their stuff make sense.
And I get that argument, but the law as it's currently written, and not just the emergency declaration law, but other laws, I don't think there's a parallel where President Warren can declare climate change to be a national emergency. There's no law authorizing her to move any money to do that. Whereas there is specifically laws authorizing the president to move money.
She can call global climate change a natural disaster and treat it as such.
And where's she going to get the money from? That's where the question comes from.
Well,
there is no law authorizing her to get that money, whereas there is specific laws authorizing the president to use the defense budget for what he's doing.
Well, by the way, there's an update on this story coming out yesterday. Fortune magazine reporting that Trump has vetoed the congressional resolution to cancel his border emergency, and apparently,
yeah. I mean, was there any doubt he was going to do that?
Apparently, it's his first veto. To me, the most relevant part of this story is that he's been in office for how long now? 2-3 years?
2 plus years, yeah.
Not a single veto until Friday? Really?
Right. Well, hasn't had to, I guess. But
shocking.
Yeah, I know.
He's draining the swamp, buddy.
I don't think.
Yeah, how do you drain the swamp without vetoing the garbage coming out of it?
Good question. I mean, great question.
Yeah. Bob, thanks for your call tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you.
Have a good night.
Yes, sir. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Let's continue. Jim, listening in South Carolina, in Columbia to WQXL FM. Hello, Jim.
Hey, thanks. I love the program.
Well,
thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Commenting on what you just said, the reason Trump has never had to use a veto is because Republicans had House majority during the first 2 years. And yeah, I wish they would have got a lot more done. But now we have Democrats having House majority in Congress. So I think that's why he had to use the veto for the first time. But I do think that emphasizes, he used it for a very important issue.
Which is to say
I don't have a problem with the veto. I have a problem with the lack of vetoes. But like I said, I'm fond of this particular president. I realize that none of them are going to rise to my standards. Mm-hmm. I realize that none of them are going to rise halfway to my standards. This guy,
hey, man, I'm a libertarian too, man. So I totally get it, and I understand. Like, no one can rise to your standards though if you're a libertarian, because
pretty much not.
We are all for limited government, and what we have now is just this corrupt, overreaching government that. I wish we could go back to 1776.
Do you though? Because it didn't work. What would you change?
Well, 1776 was the Revolution. 1789 was the Constitution.
I want to go way back towards more limited government rather than this.
But they tried that.
Well, to be clear, the Constitution, as it was written, this is the government you get from it.
They tried to limit it with
the
chains of the Constitution.
We've run a 200-plus year experiment, and we know what the Constitution brings.
What would you change? That's what I want to know, Jim. Hang on. If you want to continue the discussion, I want to know from you, if you could go back and you could change things to make it more limited somehow, what would you do? Because their experiment created one of the largest governments known to man. 855-450-FREE. You can join us here on Free Talk Live.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog. for life. The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids,
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Dynovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dynovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? One? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is, the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
Does this ever happen to you? Moments after you're introduced to someone, you forget his or her name. It's a common faux pas you'll want to avoid, especially if you're a job seeker. And even if you're not, here's a tip. As you are being introduced, and while you're still shaking hands, smiling, and making eye contact, say the person's name aloud. Not only does that make a deposit in your memory bank, it acknowledges the other person. And that is more than a nuance, as is maintaining eye contact. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it.
Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us right here if you want. You can take control of the airwaves. You can bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Also, our Discord on-air call-in line rooms are open and available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. Just jump into one of those top 4 rooms on our various chat rooms list, and we will notice you in there and join you, and then you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. It's Ian.
And Mark.
And I do want to let you know about our video clips that are now available online on clips.freetalklive.com. You want to share some Free Talk Live? Maybe there was a moment in the recent episodes that you really enjoyed. There's a good chance one of those moments that you enjoyed made it into a video clip. and you can then take that clip and share it on your favorite social media, so your friends and family and whoever else happens to monitor you can know what you are into, what you've been enjoying with Free Talk Live. So it makes it easy to share moments that you like from this show. And you can go to clips.freetalklive.com. You can subscribe to the Liberty Bits channel there. That's where the clips appear. You can also follow us on social media on Twitter at twitter.freetalklive.com. We're on Mastodon, which is the decentralized, better alternative to Twitter, in my opinion, over at toot.freetalklive.com, and also telegram.freetalklive.com. If you're on Telegram, you can follow us in any one of those ways, and you will see the updates from the YouTube channel pop right into those social media as the videos get uploaded. So it's a great way to find out when there's a fresh clip up there for you to see at clips.freetalklive.com. As we continue, we go back to Jim listening in South Carolina to WQXL. Jim, you were trying to drive at something, and I don't remember what it was. So can you bring that back to us?
Sure, man. I was really wanting to talk about the national emergency and the New Zealand thing, but since we were talking about that, I was saying that America used to have no income tax in the United States
before 1913. Yep.
1913, that's when the federal income tax was enacted.
And the Federal Reserve at the same time.
When the Federal Reserve was created, right?
Yes.
Right, it's almost as if they're related.
By Woodrow Wilson.
Bad year.
Yeah, so, I think that's when the ship really started sinking. Because once they started doing that, then it just escalated.
Yeah, well, no doubt. That was a turning point, but you could also argue that it was a pretty big turning point when Abraham Lincoln used violence to keep the Union together.
Abraham Lincoln, he definitely abused his executive power. I've heard a lot of stories about that lately.
Guess what? That's what happens when you have power. It gets abused.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I remember now what I was asking you. So you were talking about limited government, and I just didn't make a note. You were talking about limited government, the sort of theoretical thing that could exist, and I gave the United States as an example of a attempt at a limited government, and I asked you, what would you change if you could, tweak things? You can go back in time, and you could have some sort of, influence on the way things worked out. What would you change to try to make things limited? Because obviously the limitations did not hold.
Right. So I am very torn between being an anarcho-capitalist and a minarchist. There's a lot more to learn in my mind. I'm still kind of young, but thinking about it, I think the Founding Fathers were very wise to set us up as a constitutional republic rather than a pure democracy.
The idea being with a republic, you are protecting rights. Isn't that the idea?
Well, the angry mob, if you have a majority of, let's say most people, do you think most people are smart or dumb? I would say most people aren't very wise. They're ignorant. They don't really care.
I'd say they're ignorant. I wouldn't say that has anything to do with their intelligence, though. That's just ignorance. It's pretty common.
Right. Well, either whether or not they're ignorant or just uninformed or whatever,
that's what
I think that they probably don't know how to vote best for everyone.
Okay.
They might make the wrong decision. So if you have an angry mob that's ruling everything, a Democratic majority, you don't want them ruling everyone's lives.
I agree with you. There's no doubt about that. Democracy, the old saying that I love is it's two wolves and a sheep deciding on dinner. Okay, so it's pretty clear that democracy is a failed system as far as any kind of protection of rights, but the people in this republic are democratically elected. So, what's really the difference there?
Yeah, it's a democratic republic, which constitutional republic, they're kind of synonyms.
But what I'm trying to say is I'm not real clear on what's... I've been on this show
we're waiting for a judge, a government bureaucrat, to determine whether or not your rights have been violated as enumerated by whatever the finger in the wind is at that given time. That's what it means.
Well, that's crap.
Right, of course it's crap.
Yeah.
So I got one for you, Ian.
Okay, as far as changes you can make to
the... So changes to the Constitution that'll change things. First off, the politicians have to, in Washington, D.C., can only pass one item per bill. Okay. You can't cobble a whole bunch of things together. It all has to be one at a time. Secondly, they have to read everything that they pass out loud inside the house. That way they can't pass thousands and thousands and thousands of paragraphs.
You got to give Downsize DC credit because they came up with those.
Right.
Those are good ones.
Next,
people know what's going on, right?
Right. Well, the people will still be just as clueless. Don't worry.
Right. It'll at least take them time to do that, and they won't want to do that. Right?
Number 3, and I love this one.
Bills now where they don't even read it, like thousands of pages, and they don't even read it till after they pass it.
They don't even read it then either. I'm telling you, they don't.
Oh my God!
And my last one will destroy political parties. Are you ready?
Oh, okay.
This one's awesome.
I like this one. I don't even know what it is.
100% of representatives and 100% of senators must vote to pass a bill into law.
100%.
If it's any good. Like, everybody can agree murder's bad,
wow,
right?
All right. I'm on board
Everybody
with that
can agree arson is bad. Once you get that, so if you can get 100% of the liars and thieves to say that something is good or bad, then you've just destroyed all the political parties. There won't be none of this back and forth or anything like that.
What about 99%?
Why in the world? You're presuming that you elected 1% of your representatives are stupid?
Well, I'm just throwing a curveball at you.
I'm 99% not acceptable. 100%.
Would you also need 100% to repeal something as well?
No, 50% to repeal.
So we can all agree that government is completely incompetent.
Yes. We can agree on that.
Then here's what I'm amazed by.
Those are good suggestions, Mark. I'm going to give you credit. Those are pretty good.
By the way, I'm only
one of them was originally yours.
That government is incompetent, that is forced on people, that that causes perverse incentives.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're all governed by all kinds of agreements. I have a marriage contract with my wife. It's a governing document. We have an agreement.
So you both agreed on that.
That's true. Consent is what's important.
Right. I'm talking about voluntary government, and we have a lot of it in our lives, and it's rarely complained about, except for cell phone contracts. Everybody hates those.
Those aren't real contracts. Anyway, Jim, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. Thanks for the discussion. Our toll-free number, if you want to join us here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Let's go to Robert in Indianapolis, listening to WIBC FM. Hello, Robert.
Hey, thank you.
Welcome. Go ahead.
Hey, I just want to bring up something real quick about, it doesn't have to be a mass shooting, but anytime somebody's raped, killed, or murdered, well, number one reason is they don't have a way to defend themselves. They're totally defenseless normally. When are people going to wake up and at least carry some bear spray or a taser or a knife? Have something to protect yourself with. If you're afraid of guns, carry something. Everybody just sits and walks around totally helpless and defenseless, and they wonder, how did I get raped, murdered, and robbed?
And the cops aren't going to get there in time to help you. More coming up here. Free Talk Live. Thanks.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Free Talk Live, the show where anyone can call about whatever they want. And we do mean anyone.
Homeland Security teaching the Boy Scouts of America to do Black Ops missions and destroy
Hold on a second.
veterans returning.
Did you just say that they are training the Boy Scouts to do Black Ops missions?
Of course they are. There's funding from the Department of Homeland Security. There's grants and
Wait, what kind of Black Ops are we talking about here? Just like spying on the neighbors, seeing if they're putting their recycling in the wrong bin, or what?
It goes deeper than that. To teach the 12 and 13, 14-year-olds how to do paintball stuff, and the target is supposedly disgruntled veterans.
What?
They're preparing them to take on returning veterans that have been labeled disgruntled. That's part of the
They're
indoctrination.
preparing the Boy Scouts to take them on? Like what, in a firefight? hand-to-hand combat?
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern. Live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. It's a live Saturday show, and it's always open to you if you want to join us on the radio. Our number here is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733, as the politicians in New Zealand are talking about a total ban on, I guess, ownership of semi-automatic rifles. Ian and Mark here in the studio tonight. And don't forget, you can join us on our Discord server. Go to discord.lrn.fm. Oh, and if you missed it last night, the live event of Shemale versus Nazi.
Oh, God.
It was something else. Christopher Cantwell, the crying Nazi, as you may know him.
He's the guy from Charlottesville, yeah.
The guy, the biggest sort of face of the Charlottesville Nazi situation.
He didn't kill anybody, though.
Down there. Thankfully, he did not. But he was on the air on our Twitch feed last night, and also on LRN.fm. We did a simulcast on LRN, which is, audio. And that was because we were sure that this was going to get taken down. We figured Twitch has very restrictive rules about no racism, allowed on Twitch, and Cantwell's a racist. So the idea was Shemale, Aria DiMezzo, the anarchist Shemale, was going to take on Christopher Cantwell.
Our own cross-dresser.
Yep. We love her. And so it was kind of like her show, because Cantwell had Aria on his show, his kind of racist podcast that he does. And so it was only fair that she have him on one of the shows that she did. But normally she's the host of Call to Freedom, which is a radio-based show, and you can't have somebody like Chris Cantwell come on and express his awful, despicable, racist opinions on broadcast radio in the way that he would express them. So the idea was, let's go internet only. Let's do this special event. And Cantwell came in here acting like he was ready to go all night if he had to. He was willing to go past midnight. It was starting at 10 o'clock at night Eastern time. And he didn't even make it through the first hour.
Somebody called him a naughty word.
Somebody called in. Turd Ferguson actually called in and said something.
Somebody called it a naughty word.
Yeah.
Called him a naughty word.
Called him something that we can't say on the radio. Something Cantwell certainly has heard before. So, he blew up. He flipped out. I can't play it on the radio for you because I haven't edited the beeps out. I haven't beeped it out yet because it is somewhat profane. But he just couldn't handle it. He totally got triggered. He said, if you don't hang up on that person, I'm paraphrasing. If you don't hang up on Turd Ferguson, I'm going to leave. I'm gonna get up and leave. And Arya was like, well, get up and leave then, because we let you talk. You've been yammering here for 40 minutes or whatever, for a bulk of the show up until that point. And so he left. He stormed out of the studio, and there's a video right now. If you want to check it out, you can see it over at freetalklive.com. It's the top article there. It's also the top story at freekeen.com. It's on the Free Keen YouTube channel, so feel free to check that out. I don't know if Arya is going to repost the actual debate. I suspect she will. It's currently available on Arya DiMezzo's Twitch channel. That's where you can see the archived of the full hour-long or 45-minute-long debate until he got up and stormed out. So check out the storm out clip over at freekeen.com as we continue here. Your calls and thoughts. Welcome. We go to Bobby is calling from Florida. He's on our Discord call-in lines. Go ahead, Bobby.
What's up, guys? Twitch was popping. Last night's show was great.
Thanks.
If anybody out there hasn't watched Twitch, guys, you got to get on this Twitch. And then
Twitch, for our listeners that don't know, there's probably a lot of people in Radio Land who aren't under the age of 28 or whatever, who aren't really aware of Twitch. Twitch is a video streaming platform that launched in 2011. It ended up being purchased by Amazon, and it's kind of the big competitor to YouTube as far as live streams go. YouTube still owns the market as far as like archival video that you upload and can call up at any time. Twitch doesn't do a whole lot of archiving of the streams. They usually only hold on to like 2 weeks worth. So if you were to go on the Free Talk Live Twitch channel or the LRN Twitch channel at twitch.lrn.fm, you'll find the last couple of weeks worth of Free Talk Live in archival format. But if you want to go beyond that, you got to go to our YouTube channel. But Twitch is a great live streaming platform, and that's where we stream our HD quality video version of the show when we're live on the air every single night. So we are there right now at twitch.lrn.fm, and we've been doing kind of like a Twitch user drive, basically. We're trying to hit the Twitch partner level or rank, if you will, for our channel. And in order to do that, we've got to hit 75 concurrent viewers purportedly for an entire month. Here's the crazy thing that happened last night. Arya DiMezzo's channel, which is not a big channel at all. It's a newer channel. She figured she was going to lose the channel over having Chris Cantwell on. Like, we were to complete. That's the reason why we didn't have it on LRN's channel, because we figured Twitch was going to pull the feed and ban the channel because it had Chris Cantwell on it. Even though he was being debated against, we figured just the fact that he was there was going to be enough. Turns out they didn't pull the channel. It actually got her up to rank number 2 in the talk shows category during the show. She hit over 90 concurrent viewers, and by the next morning, they'd sent her a notice saying she was a Twitch partner. So
don't you feel bad that you didn't run this on your channel?
Well, we really thought they were going to pull it, but regardless, kudos to her, man. She deserved it. She was the one who came up with the idea, so she deserves the partner for that. But if you want to help us jump up to that level, then there's instructions on the front page over at freetalklive.com on how you can basically pull up the Twitch channel at twitch.lrn.fm on your home or your work computer and just kind of leave it open at all times. Then we're always there. You can always watch us if we're live.
Just hold a big event like Arya did here, and you'll get viewers.
What would you suggest?
No, I don't know. I have to think of something.
All right. Hey, Bobby, go ahead with your thoughts. What were you calling about?
Yeah. So I got to see the video of the guy when he got
the shooter
arrested.
The shooter.
Yeah. I posted it in the online here.
Thanks for bringing that up. You were the one that posted that on our Discord or in the chat. Look, so we watched that during one of the breaks earlier tonight, and what was really interesting was it was only 2 cops.
Yeah. Yeah, they pinned him, and I think they kind of...
they ran his car off the road, basically. Yeah. Pinned it up against some sort of concrete barrier, maybe, or something like that. He wasn't going anywhere. The wheels were spinning, and they arrested him.
And these cops, how they worked really well. I mean, better than I would say the American cops in situations. They kind of stunned him, and not literally yet, but they stunned him. They hit him off the road, and then they got the one cop ran to the one side. And the guy's window was already, shot open.
Yeah, he had shot his own windows open after. If you watch the original horrifying footage of him murdering these innocent people, when he gets back in his car and drives away, because again, the cops didn't show up before he was able to get away, and he was shooting people for minutes straight. He's driving away. He blasts out his own windows and just seems to be shooting at people randomly in the streets. I'm not sure if he was targeting Muslims who happen to be in the neighborhood or if he's just shooting at random people.
He must have been deaf. He shot out his own windows in a car?
Yeah, multiple times shooting from within the car as he was driving.
And then the one cop, he went really quick and he grabbed him right out of the window. Another cop got him with the taser as he was grabbing him out of the window. And then they got him and they put him to the curb and they just kept hitting him with the taser. And then they got him handcuffed. It was amazing.
I can't imagine that guy would have survived if it was the United States. I feel like that, the cops outside of the U.S., a lot of them are just better trained at taking people without, using as much violence as was. No more violence than is necessary, I guess. And the fact that they were able to do that was amazing.
And I hope they locked him into solitary confinement for the rest of his life, and that'll be his hell. I don't think there is a hell. Maybe there is, but if there isn't, I really hope he has to sit in solitary confinement for the next 40 or 50 years.
Bobby, thanks for your call tonight, man. I appreciate your thoughts and the recap there. I'm glad you brought up the video of the arrest, because I didn't even think to talk about it on the air, and it was worth pointing out. I think don't you think they handled that differently than the U.S. cops
would have?
There were
two cops that took him down. I mean, I imagine he would have just gone out in a hail of bullets in the U.S., which there's some advantages to, right? You're not housing this guy for the rest of his life in some cushy New Zealand prison, is my guess.
Toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We'll continue.
If he'd been incarcerated in the United States, of course, you have to pay for the expensive death row. You have to pay for the expensive trial.
It'll be expensive in New Zealand, too, I imagine, whatever it is.
Yes, but the trials going over and over again because of the death penalty, that only happens in the U.S. Millions
Do they not have
dollars.
The death penalty in New Zealand?
They don't have the death penalty in any sort of Western nation.
Really? Except for the United States?
That's my belief, yeah.
I wonder if New Hampshire's going to get rid of it. I heard the House passed it.
With a veto-proof majority.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about the Senate, though.
Yep.
We got more coming up here. Time for you. If you want to jump in, get on the lines now. 855-450-FREE like freedom. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Many people believe they don't control their own destiny because they haven't chosen to take the first step towards the life they've always dreamed of. Let them continue just getting by while you make the choice to do something about your future. Imagine working from home, earning the income you deserve. Start small or dream big. Work part-time or full-time. You choose the pace. Just visit startlivingyoung.com. That's startlivingyoung.com. And click on the Be Your Own Boss tab. Discover Juness, a state-of-the-art global health products company that spent 5 years on the Inc. 5,000 fastest-growing private companies in America list. With over $1 billion a year in sales, they'll provide all the tools you need to thrive and succeed. And you'll be blown away by how little it takes to get started. Visit startlivingyoung.com today and click on the Be Your Own Boss tab at the top of the page. 2019 will be the year your new life begins. Your destiny awaits at startlivingyoung.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free and bring up anything that you want. Our number in these remaining moments, we got time for you. If you dial now, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Ian and Mark in the studio tonight. And don't forget, you can, again, go to freetalklive.com, grab all kinds of free stuff there, like archives that go back for years, all the way back to 2006, downloadable easily from freetalklive.com. You don't have to pay for it, but you can if you want. I mean, we've got the AMP program where you can donate to what we do here. But by default, everything's free on the site. So please go and enjoy. It's freetalklive.com. We go back to the phones, to your calls and thoughts. He's Vernon in New Orleans. You're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, I wanted to thank you all, one, for encouraging me not to watch the video and watching it on my behalf last night, but then
You're
also
welcome.
posting it to your Discord. I wouldn't have been able to find the video without that link, so I really appreciate that. I just wanted to make the comment.
We also posted it to our social media, so I posted it on Twitter at twitter.freetalklive.com, the Mastodon at toot.freetalklive.com, and telegram.freetalklive.com. So I did send the link out there as well. So in that way, if somebody wants to go and see it, it's going to be a lot easier to find on our social media. If you were to go to the chat room, you'd have to like scroll back to last night and then or search. And
I just thought it was funny how you said, "Oh, we watched it for you," but then I'm going to post a link to every single social media.
Yeah, well, I want people to have the ability to see this if they want to. I don't recommend it, but I support freedom of speech and freedom of the media, and to me that's an important thing to do. When we did this during the ISIS killing videos, which thankfully seem to have stopped over the last few years, or at least they're not making the news if they're continuing to make them, where we actually would play some of them, their propaganda on the air, and then when the absolutely horrible violent videos came out, I tried to get some level of understanding of what I wouldn't watch most of them because they were pretty gross, but just to get a taste of what it was like so I could at least know what I was talking about on the air. And we posted links to those too because they were hard to find.
I'm not going to take the whole segment. I just had a quick comment. I just wanted to say that it looked like I almost thought I was watching a first person shooter.
That's
game.
what I said.
It was crazy. I mean, I cannot believe. And then the music the guy was listening to, like that polka music. I mean, and then
was there music? We didn't actually listen to it
while he was cruising around town. Yeah, he was listening to some crazy music, like some 60s hippie.
Huh.
I don't know.
The first 5 minutes of this video are
when
him
I think
driving.
of polka music, I don't think of 60s and hippies.
No. It's a variety of music. He actually, in the video, he probably have about 10 to 12 minutes of him just driving around making comments. And so my very last comment was, I think he only broadcast live one of the two mosque shootings. I think I think the second one that he was driving to, he cut the stream off. But
if he wanted to make an escape, you don't want to broadcast your whereabouts.
I don't think he wanted to escape. Didn't he want to get caught so he could then continue to preach from prison? Whatever paranoid claptrap.
I didn't see that part of it, but I didn't read the whole.
I didn't read the whole thing either.
I'm hanging up, but please be careful if you watch that video. I think I lost sleep last night, and I should have never watched it. Thank you.
It's disturbing. I thank you for the call tonight. I mean, it's sick from top to bottom, and it just keeps getting worse. It's bad enough to watch somebody just going and slaughtering people wholesale, innocent people, but then to go back in and to just continue putting bullets into their bodies after the fact, just to presumably to ensure that they were dead, including at least one visible child, 10 years old or younger, pretty crystal clear in what was a not so. Thankfully, it was not an HD quality video because it would have been even more horrifying in higher resolution.
It's certainly terrible. I mean, I suppose if you want to take a look for the silver lining, maybe he was putting them out of their misery. I don't know.
What? Oh, you mean the dying people? Okay.
Yes.
No, that's not his. That was not his intention, I suspect. Let's continue here with your calls and thoughts. I think what his intention was to get anybody who was playing dead. In that
certainly happened.
Let's go back to the phones to Matthew in Louisiana. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Matthew.
Hey there. So y'all were talking about if you could go back and talk to the founders to make sure that this actually stayed to be a small, limited government. And it reminded me of something from Robert Heinlein's book, Starship Troopers. The way to limit the size of the government and the scope of it is to limit who gets the sovereign franchise.
The vote.
Because, precisely. If you recall de Tocqueville's caution, he said that the United States will be destroyed when the people of the country realize that they can use the vote to get goodies from the government.
So in Heinlein, in Starship Troopers, I always say that wrong. Yeah. They only let people who had military service vote, and it's
not always military service. It was federal service. It was a period of 2 to 4 years of extremely unpleasant work that the government needed done. It could be mining on Titan was one of the things he described it as, or being used as a test animal. But it was stuff that basically, people would not volunteer to do.
Otherwise, which further inflates the value of a vote. I mean, a vote is a statistically insignificant act, and the idea that you would risk death and give 2 years of your life away for it is absolutely crazy. If in Heinlein's fictional world, I would be one of these people to be not only not having a vote, but actively attempting to get other people to not have a vote. Sounds nuts. But
so you'd be like the
parents,
the main character's father.
Yes, yeah,
way to talk him out of it.
Right.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, that was the idea.
But I don't think that's going to limit the size of government. I don't think Heinlein's idea is that great. And here's the reason. Once the ex-soldiers realize that they can get free goodies from the government by voting for them, they will. They'll just create an entitled class of veterans benefits or whatever, and there you have the same problem all over again.
Well, his reasoning, and it may be defective, but his reasoning was, having done this hard thing, this difficult thing for the preservation of the Federation, that they would be loath to do anything stupid and throw it away. Now, like I said, it could be defective.
They're going to do it to benefit themselves, just like the politicians do. I mean, the reason that the people argue against term limits, not that I'm making this argument, is that they don't want the politicians limited because they have to live with the consequences of their actions as time goes by. That somehow that's a benefit to having somebody who's been in the House for 40 years. I don't know exactly what it is. I like mine better. 100% of politicians need to agree that a law should be the law of the land, rather than this arguing back and forth and two-party crap. If you can get
got my vote,
536 drunken sailors to agree on it.
Should we do the same thing in New Hampshire?
I'm for it on a state level and a local level too.
You should run for office.
Now that I think you should. Mark.
But it's going to require a constitutional amendment.
Just on that one platform.
It's a constitutional amendment. So, I'll get torn apart. I'm a convicted felon. They're going to tear me apart. I'll never get elected. I can't get elected to dog catcher.
Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. You'd be surprised, Mark. I mean, you're talking about going up against politicians that are generally an untrustworthy scumbag bunch. I think you've got a lot to bring to the table in that kind of a race.
Why would I spend my time and energy going into a government to try to fix it for people who, for 200-something years, have always just sat around and, it's fine. No, I'm not going to waste I got a short life. I'm not going to give it to those folks.
All right. We got Sarah on the line in New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead. Sarah, New Mexico. Sarah going once. Sarah going twice. That's unusual.
Speaking of not wanting to give my short life to the government, the reason that politicians do it, these people aren't philanthropic. They're doing it for the money.
Right. They're trying to enrich their friends and punish their enemies and enrich themselves as well.
Yeah,
they're successful.
The power is addictive. There's no doubt. Everybody wants to have the special license plate and the bodyguards and all those things.
I agree. You shouldn't have any power.
Yeah.
I know
no, I should not have power. Well. Yeah. It's true. I like the trappings. I would love the trappings of power. There's no doubt. But if the only goal was to vote no on everything and just attempt to get a constitutional amendment in that made it so that it had to be 100% of politicians had to vote on something, I'd be all for that.
By the way, the full She-Male versus Nazi event video is available on YouTube. Aria has put it up on her Aria DeMezzo YouTube channel. I will have a link. I've just put it. Actually, just put the link on our Twitter and Mastodon and Telegram, so it's there for you. I'm going to update the free keen.
If you want to go, it's twitter.freetalklive.com. You can subscribe there, and you can see our tweets.
Yep, and I'm also going to update the Free Keen article that I wrote to include a link to that as well. Plus, the Freer Talk Live episode we did afterwards is kind of like a post-show, kind of a wrap-up episode of that. It's all going to be in the freekeen.com post that you will find at the top of that site right now. We'll see you tomorrow night. Join us online in the meantime at freetalklive.com. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.